All right, everyone, welcome back into another fantasy golf video. Going to be breaking down round 4 here of the Mexico Open. Have a lot to get into. We're getting a lot of prop bets. We're getting a lot of matchup bets, and we're going to touch on some showdown picks as well. I do want to start off here with some prop bets because as I'm recording this right now, we are getting some pretty crazy edges that I want to call out to you guys. Make sure you guys can maximize your upside for the day. Let's go ahead and get into that. So I want to call it these two lines right now that we are getting on DraftKings Pick 6, guys. These are pretty crazy, and this will kind of set the tone for a few of the prop bets I'm going to call out to you guys for PrizePicks as well. You could also potentially bet on Stefan Jaeger to get under 5.5 birdies or better. That's another bet that's popping up on Pick 6, and I say that because you can't pair two of the same lines together here like this. They won't allow you to do that. Pick 6 will not allow you to do that. It is kind of crazy, but it does make a little bit of sense, I guess. We'll talk about a little workaround here in just a second, because if you use like two bets like this on PrizePicks, they're going to significantly reduce the payout as well. But guys, looking at this, we are getting Aldrich here for 69.5 strokes. Now, the thing is, PrizePicks is trying to get volume on this. I think that's why they're giving us this line. His line probably should at least be 69. I'm assuming he's playing extremely well. We saw that. Yes, is he probably due to regress? Sure. Like, he is having a great putting day. The strokes getting off the tee has been basically what you would expect, but like, it should be at 69. I would say the same thing for Brian Campbell, who is also at 69.5. These are both interesting lines. It's not like they were terrible plays. Like, they were plays that you would think about. I know a lot of people on the industry were like on him as like a long shot bet purely because they were probably looking for a long shot bet to make for the Mexico Open. Like, I get that, but like at the same time, it's like he is due to have a regression day. At the same time, like, it probably shouldn't be at 69.5. That's a crazy line. And then another one here as well is Holgard, Nikolai Holgard. I'm going to type this in on PrizePicks. So his strokes is at 68.5. So we should never be getting that prop line difference by a stroke ever. That should never be happening. That is a pretty big edge. Now, if you are someone that bets on FanDuel, his line on FanDuel right now is at 67. Bet the over there, okay? Bet the over there. That is a crazy line that should not be happening. So FanDuel is much, much lower, which kind of tells us that this line right now on PrizePicks is probably a little bit too high. We should be betting the under there. Now, real quickly, guys, I do want to call another prop site as well that recently added in some PGA prop bets, and I recently got a sponsor with them. I'm going to call that in just a second. That's going to be Betr. So Betr is what it's called, but Betr. They have PGA prop bets. The nice thing about their product right now, so guys, I did recently partner with them. I'm going to touch on that in just a second. If you guys are looking to like sign up for Betr, do so. I think it's a good edge for us, but I want to call it the top parts here. So you can play multiple of the same stats. That is huge. Okay. Now they only pay out 2.5x for those prop bets, but you can also pair those up with another bet as well. So if you're thinking that maybe the course is going to play more difficult on a certain day or easier than the lines are showing, then you can pair them together. So you could bet 3 prop bets, 4 prop bets, 5 prop bets, all like strokes prop bets for the understrokes, and they're not discounting it. That is a massive edge. Okay. Look, 2 years ago, where like PrizePicks and Underdog, we're not doing that. It was such a huge edge. And so until Betr fixes that, that's a big edge. And guys, if you are looking to sign up, you guys get a pretty darn good deal with them. I'll have the link to join. That's a 9 to 5 link. That'll give me a little bit of a payout for you guys joining. But if you guys do that, new users, you'll get up to $250. So you should be I don't want to tell anyone what to do, but that's a pretty good deal right there. Now, it is worth calling out. They are typically a little bit slower getting their lines out. These might be out tomorrow, but it is worth looking at, guys. There can be some pretty big edges. I'm going to be trying to inform the Discord as well as to any edges that I see, but I wanted to call out. I'm pretty excited for that because, again, they're not reducing the payouts, and just given the lines that we're getting on Pick 6 and PrizePicks, those are some pretty darn big edges, and I thought it was worthwhile to call out and start off with all of that. Now, I do find it crazy that we're not getting any underdog lines. Maybe underdog is waiting kind of for the weather report. Looking at it, the weather is kind of expected to be like it was today, where it's a little bit windy. Yeah, it's going to change maybe some shot dynamics here and there, but for the most part, the course is still going to play relatively easy, I should say. Like good golfers are still going to get rewarded for good golfs. It's not drastically changing how the course is going to play, where we need to be targeting wind players. Now, if it does get windier, I do think someone like Jaeger, who traditionally decent wind player, might get a slight edge, like in terms of maybe capture a win there if those two other players do not come through. But I still think it's kind of the top 2 golfers right now, Aldrich and Campbell, in terms of who are probably most likely to win. And we'll actually jump into that now. We'll jump on into the showdown picks. And so we'll jump into round 4 here, guys, and we'll just take a peek right at the showdown picks here. Okay, so it's definitely interesting here. Obviously, position points matter the most, and with Smalley, he made a very good day for us, guys, in round 2 or round 3 showdown. If round 4 goes well, guys, we are looking at 5 straight slates of cash in main slate and then all round slates as well. Now, the first 2 days for me, DraftKings showdown wise, slight losses there, but I also have been playing underdog best ball drafts as well, which have been really good. And that really just tells you how good the rankings have been for underdog or just in general, just not getting the correct lineup connections or combinations in round 1 and round 2 to really have a really good week or really good days in those 2 days. Round 3 was actually much better. Ended up with a top 10 in the GPP. Overall, still pretty solid there on both sites. Pretty good stuff there. And round 4, we did end up, hopefully you guys took down GPP last week as well. It was a very good day for 9 to 5 Nation. I do find round 4 to be much more high variance, and it just comes down a lot to position points, trying to get lucky with that. So if a golfer that we're on, let's say Alex Smalley. Alex Smalley is a golfer that went off in round 3. Not all too shocking, but he is obviously due to have a worse day than he had, most likely, right? And so if he were to end up maybe shooting over par and we're on him a bunch, that's obviously going to kill us. That's going to hurt a bunch. But these are kind of the top plays that we're looking at. Akshay, he is due for a big day. I'm kind of kicking myself going back to the prop betting stuff. Every single day, he's been popping up to get under 5.5 birdies or better. And I've got minimal exposure to that. I'm kicking myself. The cheat sheet's been calling that out each day, and I'm like, nah, I'm good, which is stupid. Trust the data, right? But this is okay here. I'm fine with that. We'll go ahead now and jump into win rank. Well, real quick, I do want to call it that with Aldrich, with Brian Campbell, with those strokes props that we're getting, again on PrizePicks, where we could be betting on the understrokes. Look at this. This is crazy. Like, you got Jaeger at 68.5. So PrizePicks is telling us that he's going to close the gap. Now, this is just one sportsbook. Obviously, we could look at some other ones. Ben Griffin, Aaron Rye, they're expected to play, at 68 strokes. And this is telling me that they're thinking that the later tee times are going to be harder scoring types. With Akshay at 68, like they're telling us that with these lines, or later on in the day, it's going to be harder to score. And so if that's true, maybe someone like Harry Hall, who, if you take away his bogeys, dominating this week, right? And so maybe someone we could look at, he scored a bunch. He was actually really clutch for showdown purposes as well. I don't mind that. He scored a bunch. Really one bad round mixed in there for him. But he's not ranking out all too well there as well. Now, I do want to take a peek at win rank. Is there anyone we could potentially jump on win rank-wise? Probably not, but it is interesting that Jaeger is more likely to win per the 9 to 5 data than Brian Campbell. I am going to get into the showdown picks, but I actually want to take a peek here at maybe some potential live bets that we can get into. And so I do think that given that, guys, I probably would encourage a live bet on Aldrich. And really, that's mostly just due to the fact that I have a live bet on Jaeger. I have a live bet on Alex Smalley. I don't really think it's going to be Brian Campbell. And so I went pretty deep into the bag outright-wise because I felt like it was a week in which we would have a really good chance at taking down an outright winner. And I still feel decent about it. Obviously, we're getting some outlier performances with some two kind of random golfers. Again, you probably maybe could have talked yourself into both of them. I know a lot of people in the industry kind of talk themselves into Aldrich, which is fine. It's working out clearly. But I don't mind the idea of jumping on him as a live bet to maybe hedge in case Jaeger doesn't win or in case Smalley doesn't win. I don't mind that route. But if you are looking for, maybe you are someone that has Aldrich as an outright bet, a long shot bet, you could actually potentially get to Jaeger. Maybe. It seemed like he was going to be the one that was pushing Aldrich there. Brian Campbell really having a good week thus far. It's pretty crazy. I think that'd be the route I go. That's what the data would be telling us to do as well. And just as an FYI, guys, if Aldrich wins, I'm not going to include that in the kind of bet record for the season. There's been 2 times where I've recommended live bets to golfers that ultimately ended up winning, which very annoying because they beat out players that I was already on as good outright bets. I ended up finishing T2, which is annoying, but I don't mind that route. But I just want to call that out. All right, so again, guys, I do just want to show you guys kind of what the 9 to 5 lineup builder is telling us to do here. So I'm going to raise up just 2 projections here. That's all we have to do to kind of trigger the lineup builder to work. And I just want to get you guys on the right path. If you want to sign up for the 9 to 5 lineup builder, do that. You guys will be able to get access to it and finagle it a little bit better. So typically I don't care at all about ownership when it comes to showdown purposes. 1, the ownership projections that are out there are pretty terrible. 2, they're really commanded by companies in the industry that just don't have good as projections as myself, like honestly. And so it just typically doesn't matter who's chalk because sure, great, have those players be chalk. Let's take advantage of that. And that's why we typically are better showdown wise. And so I typically don't, but this might actually be a slate where I'm kicking myself for not taking that step to have maybe potential showdown projections, because that could end up mattering. Because look at the best build. This should be a chalk build, right? Smalley, Hogard, Aldrich, Oleson, Kevin Roy, who had a good round for us. Gerard actually was a big letdown. He was a big letdown, guys, both underdog-wise and showdown-wise. Could have been a really, really big round 3 had he shown up. But Brian Campbell popping up in there as well. That really tells us the chalkiness of this. And so, like, I'm curious, ownership-wise, yeah, Smalley, Campbell, so very chalky there. What I struggle with in round 4 is the max exposure. So typically speaking, guys, what I've been successful with, and this is for you guys to figure out for yourself, is typically I'll do 30% max exposure, 3 unique players. That works. Doesn't exactly work in round 4, where you need to be capturing players that, like Campbell and like Eldrick, that are both lower priced and performing well. Because if they continue to do that, they're going to most likely be in a good lineup. But if we cap it at about 30% exposure, we're really hindering the likelihood for us to have a good day. So that's always a concern there. And I do think it's worth calling out that I have been putting in underdog projections in there by round. The round 4 projections that are in there, guys, that is going to be set up for not including the position points, whereas the projections that you just saw for the lineup builder for round 4 are accounting for their likelihood to win and the position points that they are likely to occur because of that. So I did want to call that out. All right, so guys, now I do want to get into some round 4 3-ball bets. And so I did end up putting a tweet out of my favorite 3-ball bet of the day. I only liked one. That one ended up missing. So, kind of, oh well, we're still doing very well 3-ball wise this week. It was Joel Damon shooting -6. We were on Thorborn, Olson, and he ended up shooting -3, which was fine, but oh well. We're going to bump up the edge slider here to a positive edge. And then we also had the matchups to at least 30%. And so we can look at maybe what are the best bets that we're looking at here. So we got Hogard beating out Joel Damon again, and then Patrick Rogers. So very interesting there. Joel Damon do not do us to it 2 days in a row. But basically looking at, guys, so the matchup odds, the 9 to 5 odds are giving us a 35% likelihood, whereas the betting odds are only giving us about a 34% likelihood. So that's creating a natural edge to us. So you can get it at, was that plus 200 when it's not accounting for the decimal odds. So you bet a unit, you'll get 2 back in profit. So not terrible. Montecero as well. I actually don't hate this one. And even Harry Hall, I think, is okay there as well. But, oh, man, guys, I think I just want to go with Hogard. Again, I wish I could give you guys more. I just don't want to force it. Like, I think the comfortable spot for me with these bets is the bet that has an over 35% likely to hit. And so that's what we're going to be rolling with here. Again, if you guys want access to this tool and maybe look at it yourself a little bit more, head on over to 95sports.com, get access to this tool and all the tools for $10 a month. We're going to jump into the matchup bets. And guys, for me, I haven't really been liking the matchup bets that we've been getting. They've all felt like we've been forcing them. I mean, sort of by edge right now. So, like, here's one. Chandler Phillips beating Hayden Springer in his round. I don't mind that. That's a good bet. Actually, I'm pretty happy. All right. Finally got a good bet that I'm fine with. All right. So, -110 on DraftKings. Feel decent about that one. Another one on FanDuel. Same stuff there. Not terrible there. But then from that point on, I don't feel the need to get to those bets. Now, I do want to sort it by where we're getting plus EV as well. And so if you guys want to, you can do these plus EV bets. Ryo beating Joel Damon. It's about a 2.3% edge, plus EV bet there. And then Joe Highsmith being Ryan Gerard. Don't do that. I don't want that to happen. Please don't happen. I would actually like the other side of that better as well. But those are 2 plus EV bets if you guys want to run those out there as well. So guys, I'm going to get into the 95 bet of the day, but do want to just call out the 95 membership. Again, get access to all the fantasy golf tools that you guys need and more. Try not to overload it. Just want to be directly curated what you guys need to know to be successful betting wise and everything like that. Too many times people get too I don't want to say dialed in, but too down the road of really what doesn't matter. And so, I just really try to curate as much as possible, just give you guys the information that's needed, but you guys get access to that as well as all the underdog and PrizePicks cheat sheets. You get that all just for $10 a month, guys. Check that out. Best value out there for fantasy golf. All right, guys, so looking at the bet of the day here for PGA. Now, this is going to be on PrizePicks. Again, we do want to be comparing against underdog, but if we can even make some of these bets on Betr, we want to be doing that because, again, the more bets you place onto it, the better it is for Betr, our bets on Betr compared to PrizePicks underdog. And I know it probably sounds like I'm just saying, oh, use the promo code. Do that. That's going to be great. But, like, if we can do that, if we can bet on the conditions and how the course is going to play, you guys know that. It's actually funny. My main channel, 9 to 5 Sports YouTube channel, where I do prop betting content, mostly, and I try to talk golf content with them. They don't know what I mean by that all the time, whereas you guys know exactly what I mean by that. It's like a lot of times we can just bet on how the course is going to play, and it makes sense to me why PrizePicks and Underdog will significantly reduce the payouts because of that, but I did want to call that out. And so this is going to be a good bet for us. Now, if you want to place a bet on pick six, you could also do that as well. Again, taking advantage of these two middles that we currently have. That's a very good edge. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for being here. Good luck with all your bets. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and as always, let's keep cashing.